Good day, my friends. We are in August, and August is dedicated to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. I would have to say, people often ask me, how do I grow in faith? How do I get closer to Jesus? How do I improve my faith or my spiritual life? All these questions have the same answer as far as I am concerned, and that answer is consecrate yourself to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. I did it some years ago, the consecration, the 33-day consecration of St. Louis de Montfort, and I've never looked back. It was a turning point in my spiritual life. Our mother's job is to bring you to her Son and to get you as close to her Son as possible. And she never lets you go. And I heard a story the other day that is proof of this. So there was a young Catholic girl. She was part of a Marian movement, and she consecrated herself to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. But as she grew older and became a teenager, as often they do, she left the church. And then her life started to spiral downhill. One thing after another led her further and further away from God. And she eventually got taken up with a satanic cult. And she was to be consecrated to Satan. And on the day of her ordination, everyone there was having their hands laid upon by the top man. And he came to her and he went to lay hands on her. Yes, the laying on of hands. You see, the satanic cult will often mimic the true church in many things. Black Mass and so on. It's where the power is. But he went to lay hands on her and he couldn't. And he tried a second time and he couldn't. And he tried to pronounce the words, but he couldn't. And he tried a third time and he couldn't. And then he said to her, I cannot consecrate you. She won't let me. And the young girl was completely confused. She'd forgotten all about her Marian consecration. That was a part of her life many years ago. But the Satanist said to her, she tells me that you are hers and that I can't have you. And with this girl was awoken from the sleep that she'd been in. She ran home crying. And she soon got to confession, confessed her sins and went back to the church. Sometimes people are just in a sleep. They're sleepwalking and they don't realize the reality of what they are doing. But our mother never lets anyone go that comes to her. And as St. Louis de Montfort said, anyone who prays the rosary daily will either give up their sin and come to God, or they will give up the rosary. But they cannot do both. They cannot live in sin and pray the rosary daily. It is impossible. So they will either give up the sin and carry on with the rosary, or they will give up the rosary. So pray the rosary every day. It is the weapon of the saints. And consecrate yourself to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. You can Google it. The St. Louis de Montfort consecration. It's 33 days of preparation and then the act of consecration on the 34th day. There is a new modern consecration. I think it's called 33 Days of Morning Glory, which is slightly shorter in its prayers and things, but it is well worth doing. Consecration to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. God bless, my friends.